And that shows how good he is, because he becomes present in team talk. He's too intelligent. He gets into space. He's always got space, always got time.
The Premier League is not ready for what's about to happen. And honestly, neither are the defenders who've been sleeping well for the last few weeks.
I can't wait to see where he takes it, you know, in terms of his abilities, because he's an unbelievable football player.
Chelsea already have Estevao twisting fullbacks inside out, Garnacho running riot on the left, Joao Pedro linking everything, Pedro Neto pressing like his life depends on it, and Liam Delap bullying center backs. And that's without their most dangerous player on the pitch. Cole Palmer is back. The man who dropped 33 goal contributions, scored 4 in one half, broke penalty records, assisted 3 goals in 45 minutes, lifted a Conference League, and went to New Jersey to cook PSG and walk home with the Club World Cup golden ball. And you can feel the shift in excitement already. Scroll through the comments and you'll see it. Palmer back on the pitch. Premier League in trouble again. Rivals thought they were safe. The king is back. But this isn't just hype. Chelsea have been winning games, yes, but they've also been feeling the absence. That final pass in the middle of a low block, missing that calm touch when the team starts rushing things, missing that little moment of genius that unlocks a stubborn defense, also missing. Chelsea were exciting before, but with Cole Palmer back, they finally get the one thing they've been missing, a way to turn all that attacking potential into something unstoppable. This is why the Premier League should be terrified of Cole Palmer returning. If you really want to understand why Chelsea fans talk about Cole Palmer like he's a cheat code, you have to look back at what he did last season. It wasn't just a good year, it was one of the most outrageous individual seasons we've seen from a young Premier League player in years. Before a ball was even kicked, Palmer signed a 9-year contract, tying him to Chelsea until 2033. That alone told everyone how serious the club viewed him, and he repaid that faith immediately. August 2024 set the tone. Palmer won PFA Young Player of the Year, scored a stunning goal against Wolves at Molineux, a goal that ended up winning Premier League Goal of the Month, making him the first player in Premier League history to win the award twice in a row across 2 seasons. And he didn't stop there. In the second half of that same Wolves match, he assisted all 3 of Noni Madueke's goals in a 6-2 win game, 1 goal, 3 assists, and a Player of the Month nomination secured within 90 minutes. Then came September, where he basically turned the league into his playground against Brighton. He scored 4 goals in the first half. The first player in Premier League history to do it. 4 goals before halftime in a top-flight match. That performance, combined with his 5 goals and 1 assist for the month, earned him the Premier League Player of the Month award. And it didn't stop there. By 1st December, Palmer hit his 30th Premier League goal in a 3-0 win over Aston Villa. Only Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank got there quicker. The following week, he scored 2 penalties in a wild 4-3 win over Spurs.
How cheeky is that?
With the second one being a cold-blooded Panenka. Those 2 spot kicks pushed him to 12 penalties scored from 12 taken, breaking Yaya Touré's record and setting a new Premier League mark for the most penalties scored without a single miss. By the end of 2024, Palmer had broken yet another record, the most Premier League goal contributions by a Chelsea player in a calendar year, beating Hasselbank's long-standing total of 36 from 2001. Then came Europe. In the UEFA Conference League final, he delivered again. 2 assists, man of the match, and Chelsea became the first club in history to win all 4 major European trophies.
Chelsea have completed the set. Their young squad has come of age.
And just when it looked like the season couldn't get any more ridiculous, July arrived. Chelsea faced PSG in the Club World Cup final in New Jersey, and Palmer showed up like it was his own personal stage. 2 goals, 1 assist, match winner, golden ball. He finished the tournament with 3 goals and 2 assists, officially crowned the best player in the competition. The truth is simple, last season wasn't just a breakout, it was a statement. Cole Palmer didn't just arrive at Chelsea, he announced himself as the heartbeat of the club, the difference maker in every big moment, and one of the most complete young attackers in Europe. And now that same player is coming back into a Chelsea team that's even stronger than the one he carried. For a team built around Cole Palmer's creativity, his absence should have broken Chelsea. Last season, he dragged the club through tight games, produced 33 Premier League goal contributions, broke penalty records, and became the calmest decision maker in the squad. Losing a player like that usually creates a drop in chance creation, in in confidence, in control. But something unexpected happened. Chelsea didn't collapse. They adapted. When Palmer went down with his groin injury early in the season, Maresca was already dealing with a squad stretched to its limit. Levi Colwill's ACL, Fofana's concussion setback, Tosin's muscle tear, and Liam Delap's early season knock left the defensive spine unstable. Add suspensions, including Chaloba's red against Brighton and the early Sanchez dismissal at Old Trafford, and Chelsea's structure should have fallen apart. Yet instead of spiraling, Chelsea found new ways to win. The most obvious moment came at London Stadium. A Chelsea side missing Palmer, Delap, Colwill, and two starting fullbacks walked into West Ham and produced one of the most fluid attacking performances of the season. 5 goals, 5 different scorers. João Pedro, Enzo, Caicedo, Chaloba, Neto, all filling the gaps Palmer usually occupies. Chelsea finished that match with 18 shots, 10 inside the box, over 60% possession, and the highest open play XG they had produced all season. And it wasn't just the goals, it was the structure. Without Palmer connecting the play in the right half space, Estevao stepped into that role and delivered his first Premier League assist. A calm, disguised cutback to Enzo. João Pedro drifted deeper, almost becoming a temporary number 10. Garnacho attacked space on the left with the chaos and pace the side had been missing since the start of the season. Chelsea learned to create threat from different zones. Wide overloads instead of central combinations. Faster switches of play. More direct carries into the final third, early runs from midfielders to replace Palmer's usual third-man movement. And statistically, the adaptation was real. In the 5 matches without Palmer, Chelsea averaged 1.72 expected goals per game, up from 1.49 with him last season, 54 progressive carries, and a 17% increase in attacks generated from wide areas. It wasn't perfect, far from it. Chelsea still struggled with the same issues Palmer usually solves, breaking low blocks without rushing, finding that final pass when possession becomes predictable, calmness in the last 20 minutes of tight games, someone to slow the tempo when matches get frantic. The stats show it clearly. In matches where opponents defended deep, Chelsea's shot quality dropped to 0.07 XG per attempt, compared to 0.14 when Palmer was available last season. They created volume without incision. Lots of touches, lots of crosses, but not enough Palmer moments. The kind where he waits half a second longer and picks the exact right angle. But here's the part that matters. Even without their best creator, Chelsea built a foundation. They learned how to win without relying on one man. They found out who could step up, who could carry pressure, who could operate in tight spaces, and who needed Palmer to unlock their best version. If there was ever a night Chelsea were supposed to crumble without Palmer, it was Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. 7 or 8 players out, the champions in town. A squad patched together with teenagers and improvisations. Pundits openly predicting embarrassment. And yet, something shifted. Chelsea didn't hide. They played. They kept the ball. They built triangles. They matched Liverpool's intensity without rushing into panic. When Moises Caicedo smashed that 25-yard rocket into the top corner, the stadium erupted. But Maresca didn't celebrate wildly. He reset the team immediately. He knew Liverpool would come again, and they did. Liverpool equalized. Stamford Bridge went quiet for a moment. This is the moment where the team usually needs Palmer. His calmness, his control, his ability to rethink a game from the middle third. But instead of folding, Chelsea adjusted. They compressed the center. They waited, and in the 95th minute, Marc Cucurella whipped in a cross that teenage Estevao Willian slid into the net 2-1. Without Palmer, against one of the most aggressive pressing teams in Europe, it wasn't just a win, it was validation. It proved Chelsea could survive storms without their main creative voice. It proved the structure works, and it proved the players around Palmer had taken real steps forward while he was recovering. João Pedro showed he can lead the press. Estevao proved he has zero fear in possession. Garnacho brought directness that stretches defenses. Pedro Neto offered the balance and work rate that stabilizes transitions. Delap, before his injury, showed he could occupy both center backs alone. Chelsea didn't just survive without Cole Palmer. They evolved. And the scary part for the rest of the league is this. They did all of that with their most influential player watching from the sidelines. Because the moment Palmer steps back into this system, everything those players learned suddenly becomes twice as dangerous. Chelsea without Cole Palmer looked like a team trying to speak a language they were still learning. Chelsea with Cole Palmer, that's a team ready to write poetry. Because while Palmer was healing, something quietly powerful happened. The attack around him matured. It became sharper, faster, and more layered, and the players who were supposed to support him suddenly grew into threats of their own. Let's break it down. João Pedro. If last season showed he could be a finisher, this season is proving he can also be an organizer. While Palmer was out, João Pedro started dropping into the pockets Palmer usually occupies, turning between the lines, dragging defenders out, and linking transitions. His ball retention under pressure was a lifeline in those tense moments where Chelsea would normally lean on Palmer's calmness. Without Palmer, João Pedro averaged more touches in zone 14, more completed layoffs, more progressive receptions. He became the bridge of the attack. And now, when Palmer returns, those roles will merge instead of clash. Estevão Willian. Watching Estevão in these early Premier League weeks has felt like watching someone who doesn't realize he's supposed to be nervous. He's direct, he's fearless, and he's a problem. With Palmer out, Estevão often received the ball in tight areas, especially on the right side, and attacked immediately. The kind of bravery that drags fullbacks out of shape. His winner against Liverpool wasn't luck, it was timing, it was instinct. It was exactly the sort of movement you want next to a playmaker who can find anyone, anywhere. Garnacho brought something Chelsea have missed for years: chaos. The way he carries the ball into space changes the geometry of the pitch. Defenders backpedal, midfielders retreat, and suddenly there are gaps that didn't exist seconds earlier. Those gaps, Palmer loves them. He lives in those half-second windows where a defender takes one step too far. Garnacho creates the stretch. Palmer exploits the stretch. It's a perfect fit. Pedro Neto. When the game gets ugly, and this league guarantees moments like that, Pedro Neto is the one who keeps the structure alive. He presses with intensity, tracks runners, and still finds ways to beat his man. He gives the attack something crucial: discipline. And with Palmer coming back, Neto might become the player who keeps the system upright when everyone else is attacking like the world is ending. Delap. Before his injury, Liam Delap showed glimpses of becoming a proper number 9. Not a poacher, not a target man. Something in between. Someone who can hold, spin, and attack inside the box with conviction. Palmer thrives when he has a striker who pins center backs, makes diagonal runs, and creates pockets of space behind the pressing line. Delap does all three. So where does Palmer fit? Short answer, everywhere. That's his magic. Everyone else in this attack has a defined zone. Palmer has a license as the 10th. This is where he's lethal. He receives between midfield and defense, turns and immediately forces a decision. If you step toward him, he slides a ball into space. If you hold, he drives and shoots. If you double up, he releases wide players into 1v1s. Chelsea without Palmer, possession heavy, territory controlled, but predictable. Chelsea with Palmer, possession becomes pressure, territory becomes chances, predictability disappears on the right. When Palmer drifts wide, he attracts defenders like a magnet. Bring two players toward him, and Estevão is suddenly free. Stay compact and he cuts inside onto his left foot. This movement creates the rotation. Maresca loves. Estevão comes central, João Pedro pushes higher. Garnacho attacks the far post. The fullback overlaps into space. Palmer decides the angle. It's fluid, it's unpredictable, it's a nightmare for defenders. We forget that Palmer isn't just a creator, he's a scorer, a cold one. Last season, he hit 30 Premier League goals before December in his second campaign, 12 out of 12 penalties, 4 1/2 against Brighton, multiple match-winning goals in tight games. When he plays closer to the box, Chelsea suddenly have 2 finishers, 2 playmakers, 3 runners attacking space, and a midfielder Enzo who can join late. It becomes a front 4 instead of a front 3, and that shape is deadly in Maresca's system. Chelsea spent weeks surviving without their most influential player, and in surviving, they grew. In growing, they unlocked new roles, new partnerships, new patterns. Now the player who knits everything together, the one who slows chaos, creates control, and brings clarity in the final third, is about to rejoin a team that has already leveled up. Chelsea without Palmer were interesting. Chelsea with Palmer, they can be devastating. Cole Palmer's return couldn't come at a better time. Chelsea walk into 3 games that each demand a different kind of courage. Burnley will sit deep and make the pitch tight, and these are the matches where Chelsea missed that final moment of quality, the little pause, the disguised pass, the calm that breaks the block, and Palmer gives exactly that. Then comes Barcelona at Stamford Bridge, a fixture that always feels bigger than the tournament itself, and against a team that presses high and leaves space in dangerous areas. Palmer's ability to control rhythm and release runners becomes priceless. And finally, Arsenal, who turn every mistake into pressure and every loose touch into a transition. And this is where Chelsea needs someone who stays composed in the chaos and makes everything look simple. 3 games, 3 different problems, 1 returning solution. Palmer gives Chelsea control where they lose it. creativity where they rush, and confidence where they hesitate. His comeback doesn't just add a player, it restores balance to a team that has already grown without him. Chelsea survived the hard part. They learned to fight without their most influential player, and now they get him back at the moment it matters most. Palmer returns to a team that's sharper, more direct, and more confident than the one he left, and that combination is what makes the next few weeks feel different. Chelsea were promising without him, but with him, they look complete. Let's see what happens next.